Okay. Particle moves, number 27. A particle moves along the x-axis so that anytime t its position is given by x of t equals t plus 1 times t minus 3 cubed. Question is, for what value of t is the velocity of the particle increasing? Well, what does that mean? Well, I can find my velocity and I say, okay, does that mean where my velocity is positive? Is that where my velocity is increasing? No. It's where the slope of my velocity is positive. Because if my velocity is positive, I don't know if it's increasing or decreasing. But to find where my velocity is increasing, that's talking about the slope of my velocity. Where the slope of my velocity is positive, that's where my velocity is increasing. So, I have to find my velocity, and then the slope of the velocity is my acceleration. I have to find where my acceleration is positive. So velocity is the first derivative of position, acceleration is the second derivative. So I gotta find the second derivative. So x prime of t is my velocity, which equals, I gotta do product rule. Derivative of the first is just 1, so times the second is t minus 3 cubed, plus the first, which is t plus 1 times the derivative of the second, which is 3, t minus 3 squared times the derivative of the inside, but that's just 1. Okay, so that's my entire first derivative. I'm done with that. So x double prime of t equals my acceleration of t, which is also my v prime of t, right? Take the derivative of this is, the second derivative of position is the derivative of velocity, which is my acceleration. Okay, so I'm finding the slope of my velocity because I want to find where it's increasing. So I take my second derivative of this function and I get 3t minus 3 squared plus, now it's product rule again, the derivative of the first is just 1, so it's 3t minus 3 squared plus the first, which is t plus 1 times the derivative of the second, so 2 times 3 is 6t minus 3, 2 becomes a 1, and then the derivative inside is just 1. So that is my second derivative, so I'm going to rewrite that better. X prime of t, which equals my v prime of t, which is what I'm interested in, the slope of my velocity, to see where it's positive. I rewrite that as 3 times t minus 3 squared plus 3 times t minus 3 squared. Okay, well that's just 6 times t minus 3 squared plus 6 times t plus 1 times t minus 3. Okay, so I'm interested in where this is positive. So in order to figure out where it's positive, what I should do is figure out where it's negative, where it's equal to 0. Okay, so if I want to figure out where this is equal to 0, what I should do is just think about it, right? If I set this. If I want to figure out where this is positive, okay, well, let's think about it. If t is less than 3, obviously t can't be negative. So if t is less than 3, like 1 or 2, this is going to be negative, and this is going to be positive, okay? If t is greater than 3, right? If t is greater than 3, then this is going to be positive, and this is for sure going to be positive. So, okay, so here's my question. What am I going to do here? I got to find my zeros, right? I got to find where this is going to be equal to 0. So I set it equal to 0, and I get 6 times t minus 3 squared plus 6 times t plus 1 times t minus 3. Excuse me. So what does this become? Well, I pull out a t minus 3 from everything, so I get 0 equals t minus 3. Well, I can actually take a 6 t minus 3 out of everything. 6 times t minus 3. This becomes t minus 3 here, and then this becomes plus t plus 1 there. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so then I'm going to say, okay, 0 equals 6 times t minus 3 times, I'll simplify, this becomes 2t here, Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. Alright, now I want to simplify further. I can get rid of this 6 because that's not changing anything, and I'll pull a 2 out of here. So this becomes 0 equals t minus 3 times 2 times t minus 1, right? Then I can pull that 2 out of there as well. So then I look at it a little bit more clearly. 0 equals t minus 3 and then t minus 1. So clearly my zeros are at 3 and 1. So I draw a line here and I do 1 and 3. Now I want to figure out where this is positive, so I check my regions. So if I plug in 0 here, this becomes negative 3 squared. Negative 3 squared is 9 times 6 is 54, so it's 54 plus 6 times 1 is 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. So at 0 it's positive. So to the left of 1 it's positive. Then I try plugging in 2 here. And I say, okay, 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. So this is 6. This is going to be 6. Plus 2 plus 1 is 3 times 6 is 18. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, so this is negative 18. So 6 minus 18, that's negative there. Okay? And then I check 4, for instance.